Hey everyone, it's prime time in the Seven Dwarves. I'm going to share with you 10 Disney books that sell for crazy money on eBay. These are all ones that sold recently, either individually or in bulk multiples if you could find them. Now, I love sourcing and selling books. I love sourcing and selling Disney items. So if I could combine both Disney and books together, I absolutely love sourcing and selling that type of stuff. The problem is there's so many Disney books out there, so many types. It could be really tricky to know which ones to hone in on. But if you're in the know, you could use that to your advantage because a lot of your competition are going to miss these things when they're outsourcing. And a lot of people who are selling things to you might not attach as much significance to the books as there should be. So let me start by sharing a perfect example with you. This one over here, which is Walt Disney's Railroad Story. Now, the thing about this that a lot of people miss is that there actually were quite a few of these that were signed inside. Now, not all of them were, but there were a bunch of them signed by the author Michael Brogy. Now, how are you going to know that, right? It doesn't say anywhere on the outside that that's the case, but that's why I always say open these books, take a peek inside, and you may find something like this. So you can see here, it says this special edition of Lily Bell, Walt Disney's Railroad Story, commemorates the 40th anniversary of Disneyland and the celebration of the National Fantasy Fan Club. And this was in 1995. There you could see the author's signature. Don't worry that it's personalized, these will still sell. This particular one sold for $140, and that's generally the range that they will sell in. Now, you remember me also doing a video about the importance of slip covers or slip cases. Now, this book doesn't have one, but they did make some that did have the slip cover on it. If you get one with the slip cover and it's signed, well, look here, you've got yourself about a $280 book just from adding the slip cover on. There you could see the slip cover. There you could see the same book that I just showed you. So it really helps to add value. Now let's go look at another item here. I love these. I love these books by Whitman. Now, they made a lot of books that were called the Big Little Book. So they were these like tiny, thick books that could fit in the palm of your hands. But then they made some bigger ones called the Big Book. And this is the story of Mickey Mouse. 1935 sells for about $150 if you could find it. Make it a little bit bigger there for you. Just a beautiful classic scene there on there. Now, this is why I always say, by the way, as a tip, go to the children's sections of any place where you see a lot of books. That could be at the thrift store. That could be at a library book sale. It's one of the first places I go to, and you find things like this that are hidden in there. I'm not saying you're going to find the story of Mickey Mouse, but you might find other cool old vintage books in there. And in estate sales, I find a lot of these old Whitman books. Here you could see here the publisher says right there, Whitman Publishing Company. I will find a lot of the Big Little books or Little Big books, and sometimes I'll find some of these as well. So you never know. Look out for this Mickey Mouse one. It might be in there. You might be able to get it. Now, if you happen to see it front facing or back facing, it's easy to spot. But as I showed in recent video and other videos, look here. What if you happen to see it from the side? Nothing there is going to identify it. So even if you see books like this with plain spines, definitely flip them over because you might find this on the other side. All right, let's go to the next item here. If you find anything that's related to a resort opening or some type of grand opening, a book related to it, whether it's the Disney Shanghai Resort one or if it's another, these are things that, they did make in some volume because they were celebrating things. So, you might find someone who actually has a couple of them selling them. These sell for $178 plus $20 shipping. So you're talking about a $200 sale if you could find one of these books. So really cool. Anything that the theme here is anything again that commemorates the opening of something and it's a book within Disney, chances are it's going to sell really well. Let's move on to the next one. Now this one kind of cracks me up because if you remember, it was like last summer, maybe two, I think it was last summer. I actually found something very similar to this. This is at a garage sale for like $1. The Tarzan Chronicles. Now this one's a little different. This one's worth a little more. The Tarzan Chronicles. This is Disney's limited edition. There were 1,600 of these made, and these were actually signed by there were 1,600 signed by the producer and the director of Disney's animated film. Now, the producer was Bonnie Arnold, and there were two directors. There was Chris Buck and Kevin Lima. So they signed them inside. Now, the one that I happened to find was a lesser version of this. It didn't have the signatures, but even that I got for $1 and sold it for somewhere between like 50 and $75. That's why I'm telling you, even if you don't find this exact thing, like you might say, prime time, there's no way I'm ever going to be able to find that one. Still, you still pick up on the themes, find something similar to this, it could still sell well. And you never know, you might actually find this one and have a $200 sale on your hand. By the way, what do you notice over here on the side? Again, reinforcing that theme, slip cover, slip cover, slip cover, slip case, slip cover. I cannot emphasize again how important that is with books, including Disney. Now, this is just amazing, and this is a slipcover set, but it's not really, I mean, the slipcover helps with this, but what really is crucial on this is that this is Karl Barks, not Karl Bach, Karl Barks Donald Duck Library. Now, this is volume 10. It's a hardcover set. You can see here there's 3 books there, and if you look on the side here, this is where you'll see Karl Barks. You have to know that name. Just say it over and over to yourself because if you find almost any Disney book that says Karl Barks on it, I could guarantee you it's going to go for good money. It was a lot of the books that have Barks' name on it were published by a company called Another Rainbow. So that's another thing that you should mark down and you should definitely look for. Now, things that are associated with Bark have high value because he's one of the most respected Disney artists of all time. He's known for doing a ton of amazing work with the duck characters. That's why Will Eisner and fans have called him the Duck Man and the Good Duck Artist. He's just done so much great work. Did so much great work with that in the past. So you could see this is Karl right here, Karl Barks. Maybe we'll get a picture of Karl Bach up one day besides his icon. And he created so many things. He created Duck Land, where all the duck characters live. He created Scrooge McDuck, and he created some other characters you should also know if you ever see them. A lot of people are familiar with the Beagle Boys. He created them. He created Gladstone Gander. He also created Gyro Gearloose. He created Cornelius Coot. He created Flinthard Glomgold. He also created John D. Rockerduck, funny a take off of John D. Rockefeller. Also created Magica Dispel. So, there's just so much associated with him, and that's why stuff that he does just goes for great money. People love his art. This here, about a $200 sale if you ever come across any of these slip cover sets by him. Now, speaking of well-known and famous Disney artists, this is another one right here, is Mary Blair. And this happens to be an exhibit book that features her art. This one came over from Japan. It has some English translations inside, and it has a lot of her work inside of here. Now, she's very well known for doing work on Peter Pan. She did work on Cinderella, and she also did work on Alice and Wonderland. So you could see a picture of her right here back in the day, and she was working on her art there. And there's a lot of books out there, by the way, that are dedicated to the work of Mary Blair. So if you see anything Disney Mary Blair on it, definitely look into it because it's something that could have some good value to it. Now, you see here $48.39. You might say, well, how's that crazy money? Thing is, this is one of those books that you may be able to find in bulk multiples because it's more of a modern book. It's a 2009 book. You could see here the person who had these had 11 of them and sold every single one of them. So that's 50 times 11. There you go, $500 plus in sales. So that's what I mean when I talk about bulk multiples. Here we go again. This is an amazing one by Karl Barks. This is Uncle Scrooge in color. Now, this one is a limited edition signed one. They only made 750 of these. There you go. You got Uncle Scrooge right there on the cover. Because Karl Barks is dead, that's one of the reasons that these books with his signature are going to go for great money. You could see here $670 sale price for this. Absolutely amazing. There's not much else to show to you about it besides that cover. It's just an amazing piece. But one of the things that this particular book has inside of it is this comic book story, which is Christmas on Bear Mountain. You will come across a lot of Disney comic books when you're out there, including Donald Duck ones. And there's a lot of them aren't worth any, but this is one of the four-color ones, and this one is actually worth a lot of money because it's the first appearance of Scrooge McDuck, and you wouldn't even know that from the cover. So you need to know about the Christmas on Bear Mountain. If you ever find that, that's something that could actually go to something like Heritage Auctions because it just sells for crazy money. It's from 1947. Let's go to another one here. Now, this is another one of these ones that you may be able to find more in bulk if you happen to find a source for it. It's a promotional type of item for Disneyland Paris, and it has Phantom Manor on the cover, which is basically their version of the Haunted Mansion over in Paris. And inside, they have the collectible book in it, which you can read all about in there, and it's part French and part English. It's got all the cool images and stuff. But then also inside, there's a whole bunch of different brochures and stuff that Disney fans love to collect, Guide to the Park and that type of thing. So those would go for about $75 a piece plus shipping. You're talking like almost $100 there total times 12. It's going to be over $1,000 if you're able to get a score of those promotional pieces. So, you just never know whose estate you're going to walk into, for example, or whose storage locker you're going to find, or what phone call you're going to get one day to someone who happened to have a bunch of this stuff. And there you go. You've got something great on your hands. Speaking of something great on your hands, this one here is Disneyland's Nickel Tour book. Now, this appeals to Disneyland collectors plus postcard collectors because what this book is, it's a postcard journey through 40 years of basically Disneyland. It tells you all about all the rides inside. It tells you all about when the rides were created. It tells you about things that didn't take place, like things that were planned but never actually occurred. You could see here there's like websites that just do whole reviews on the Nickel Tour book. It's considered a must-have book. They basically advertise it as basically a collection of every Disneyland postcard that was made up until the point that the book actually came out. And you could see here how it's set up. It's not just like pictures of postcards. It's pictures of postcards like nestled into like a storyline. And so, it's beautiful to look at. And, people love the stories. Like I said, there's a lot of detail in it. People like to look back, a lot of nostalgia and a lot of really cool information there. So that book right there, if you ever find something like that, the Nickel Tour book, you might see it, right? And someone might, if you're not in the know, and you might just think, oh, this is just some guidebook or something, right? No, 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 no. That's actually a $500 book. It's crazy. All right, so there's that. And the last one, we got to bring it back to Karl Barks because this individually signed and numbered, this is like the holy grail of Disney books. I mean, this thing is amazing. This is so sought after if you could find it. $1,100 sale for this. And this is not a one-off. Like this is not like an uncommon price for this book. This is something that if you find it in new condition, that's what it is gonna sell for. And frankly, even if it was in used condition, it's probably gonna sell pretty close to that as well. It's a just a whole big compilation of his artwork related to Donald Duck and the other ducks in the series. So again, make sure you're looking for anything related to Karl Barks. Well, I am going to go and relax a little with my Disney shirt and the seven dwarves behind me. Don't forget to come by tomorrow night or tonight, when depends when you're watching this, or look back on it. It's going to be April 21st, 2021. We're going to have the Battle of the Beards Thrift Battle. Joey Bada Bing is going to take on Drew from Profit Monsters, and Harry Tornado is going to be the referee. So that is going to be a lot of fun. Don't forget to put a comment down below. Let me know which one you found maybe the most surprising or the coolest, or which one you'll especially be on the lookout for. And add any Disney books that you look for, that you think are high value ones too, that we should know about. So I appreciate it. So again, like, comment, and subscribe, and check out that join button for membership. And I'll see you back the next one, everyone. Take care.